Once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah.
I was in Woodsfield. I was trying to get here as fast as I could.
Hello. We have a guest here today, and I'm not sure which camera we're on, but Senator Frank Hoagland is currently serving his first term in the Ohio State Senate, District 30, representing southeastern Ohio. That includes Carroll County, Jefferson, Harrison, here in Belmont, Noble, Monroe, Washington, Athens, Meigs, and a portion of Benton County. Senator Hoagland is a small businessman, Navy SEAL. Senator Hoagland volunteered for the Navy just 2 weeks after he graduated from a local high school, it's Buckeye North High School in Jefferson County, and he quickly signed up for Navy SEAL Buds training, following Special Forces footsteps of his father, who had served as an Army Green Beret. He served as a Navy SEAL for nearly 30 years, participating in combat zones, including the International War on Terrorism and the War on Drugs in South America. After his last combat deployment in 2011, Senator Hoagland retired and returned to here in Eastern Ohio. He founded a small business special training and response taxi. That's STRT, and at STRT he shares his expertise on emergency situations, preparation, and emergency response procedures with local schools, businesses, and law enforcement. So, Senator Hoagland, welcome.
Hey, thank you very much.
We thought we'd start out today with just let you introduce yourself, about maybe a little bit about how you decided you wanted to become a senator and how that worked.
Well, really, let me back up and get some clarification. That's what's going on here. I didn't truly serve in the United States Navy for 29 years.
29 years.
Yeah, I served in the Navy for 21 years. And then I did 8 additional years with another DOD component working out of D.C.
Oh.
But, a little bit of background. Yeah, you're right. My dad was Army Green Beret. I was born in Steubenville. And when Dad got back from Vietnam, we moved to Panama, Central America. I did first grade all the way to 8th grade, predominantly in Panama. We did have a little short stint in Fort Bragg, and then we moved right back to Panama. Yeah, because I restaurant until I was like 15 years old, because I lived on military bases. So I always knew what I wanted to do ever since I was a young kid. And then when we finally moved back, we always call this area home. Whenever we moved back home and I graduated high school, actually before I graduated high school in 1981, I enlisted in that delayed entry program. And my goal and vision has always become the United States Navy SEAL. The ironic thing is I got a brother of mine who actually went through BUDS, which we call BUDS, you guys call SEAL training, went through BUDS like about a year and a half before I did. And neither of us even knew that we wanted to be, I didn't know that he wanted to be a SEAL because he was already a Navy diver.
Yeah.
And then I did my entire career in spec war, and then I ended up with the parasite had gotten into my sinuses and eating a hole to my skull. And that basically, that tube blocked me. I no longer had the ability to jump or dive, so I had to get out. So I got out and got picked up, did a little bit of work in between, but for the most part it was all working for either the federal side, Department of State side, or Department of Defense side. And I enjoyed doing what I'm doing. People helping people is the most important aspect that you can do. Because it's never about me. My dad told me it can't be about you. So after I finished deploying, I got wrapped up. Yeah, my last deployment overseas was 2011. It was a short stint. And then I didn't really know what to do with myself. I'm basically retired twice. My wife and I have 2 kids, and we live out on this little patch of ground Her family owned since really the Civil War, and we have the business. Now the business is kind of it parallels my last dog leg, if you will, of my career. But the business was all about people helping people too.
Yeah.
And we got into doing that stuff, and then all of a sudden I got a phone call. Congressman Bill Johnson and I became good friends, and that, in short, what ended up happening was Bill called me at my house one day and asked if I would be interested in running for state senator. I was eating chili mac, seriously,
Yeah.
and a noodle almost shot out of my nose. I was like, wow, because if you've ever asked any of my friends or anybody, I never had any intentions of getting into the political arena. We drug our feet for a while before I finally said yes, and then I wanted to make sure my family was good to go with it, my friends, and obviously into the water. The we just didn't like. I mean, very few people do, and it's not like I got a small circle. I talk to a lot of people, and regardless of who you bureaucracy is the bureaucracy. Although I will tell you this, see, within spec war, we always wanted to keep and even working for the Department of Defense, we always wanted to keep our chain of command as flat as because I don't when I'm up in Columbus, I don't make a decision that's specifically for Frank Hoagland. I've got a series of people, and I'll call some people I don't even know. I'll talk to people. When I'm driving to and from Columbus, I literally stop and talk to people to see what they think. And we talk about everything, but I don't make a decision that's for Frank Hoagland. The decisions when I'm voting is in the best interest of our district.
Right.
Now, I've already explained while I was up there, I don't believe that, I come from a team concept. The team comes together. You're only as fast as your slowest guy. That's how it is with my whole life.
Yeah.
Football teams, baseball teams, I don't care what it is. You got to bring the whole team up together. There's some people that's got some specialties and they're pretty good in certain sections. But you got to bring the whole team up together. Well, I don't really see that happening right now in our state because what I see going on is it's just like certain aspects of the state is advancing faster than ours. Take, for instance, the broadband internet.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that we would have already taken and put a lot of money into sinking in, getting our communications capability up to speed so that we can expand our district. And when I look at our district, yeah, we're on the Ohio side of the river, but West Virginia and Pennsylvania is just, it's just on the other. There was no more smoke. During your descent coming into Pittsburgh, you'll normally see the smoke coming out of the stacks. We used to, but what I do see going on, if you get up in the air and you get about 10,000 feet up there, you're going to see a lot of gas and oil work going on. store called Frida's Market. Give the kids the opportunities so they can become relevant, stay at home.
There is something missing here, and I think you put your finger on it.
While, and basically it tells ODOT that they need to take a segment of funding and put it towards the repair of bridges, okay? You know, once again, if you're a person that's ever manufactured something or been part of, like in the military, we have what we call preventive maintenance, all right? It's much cheaper to repair items than it is to replace something. So what that bill actually does is that the funding is allocated to the bridges that are getting well worn. The interesting part about that bill, though, is right after we got that bill through the Senate floor, we turned around and put a modification to ODOT's funding requiring them to continuously fund the repairs of bridges across the entire state of Ohio. Now, those bridges are more focused on municipalities and counties, you know, township roads, because the state has their own funding to fix their own bridges. Now, the other thing that we were trying to do during that time frame was, I knew that, you know, our President Trump now was looking at our infrastructure, and on the federal side, this is just the way my brain works. On the federal side, they define a bridge of like 20 feet. So if we could define all of our bridges federal to it, you save money over here, then that gives you more funding. And in my eye, you know, part of the infrastructure would be rebuilding of the roads. You know, I know up in I was scratching my head. I was like, holy cow. So I spoke to a couple of my friends and I says, look, they're thinking about putting fiber in the roads. We can't even fix potholes in ours. Right. So we had that argument. You know, I argued to the point, you know, regardless of the gas tax, and I'm wrapping my brain around all that, but at the end of the day, our infrastructure for our roads and our bridges and our ability to get broadband internet is so viable. We've got to get that squared away.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that you guys are working on it. All of this stuff. It has to be.
Well, that's how the kids are going to be able to do the stuff that they're doing. You know, if we get we have already got gas and oil coming through here. Okay, they got to have the ability. Today we use our cell phones for GPSs. Okay, and I could give you a Latin law. All right, where you take you right to where I did. Or an item off of the shelf at a brick and mortar store, we'd be paying the sales tax for it.
Right.
And that's where we're seeing some of the funding is starting to, bleed away, and we gotta be careful about that.
Yeah, I think that we're all going to have to adjust. Speaking of money, income, and all that sort of thing, the budget stuff, what can you tell us about your experience with the budget as a freshman senator?
It was, it's interesting to see that the way it resembles a lot of what the Department of DNR requirement. And then now you have to watch your expenditures. The federal side is it wasn't